She claimed to be the owner's wife, but I'm his son. I'm 18 years old and my parents own a small cozy restaurant. Let's call it Joe's, named after my grandparents. I usually help out there, especially on weekends. I serve customers, take orders, and get to keep my tips. I also hang out there with my friends sometimes. And yes, I always pay for my food. Now here's the thing. Most regular customers don't know I'm the owner's son. And my parents, they work there too, right alongside the staff. So people often just assume they're employees. One busy weekend, a woman I'd never seen before walked in with a loud, bratty kid, maybe around 13 years old. We had a small wait list that day, so we asked her to sit on one of the waiting chairs. About 20 minutes later, a table opened up. She and her kids sat down and I went over to take their order. I don't remember exactly what she ordered, probably a sandwich. But I passed the order to the kitchen and stayed near the register to help other guests. That's when her kids started running around, literally, screaming, bumping into people, stepping on feet, and even touching other people's food. His mom, sitting at the table, scrolling on her phone, not a care in the world. I had enough. I gently grabbed the kid's arm and told him firmly not to run around. He immediately burst into tears and ran back to his mom. That's when the chaos began. She stood up fuming, stormed toward me and shouted, "How dare you touch my child?" I calmly told her that her son was disturbing other guests and even touching their food. She cut me off and yelled, "He's a child. He can do whatever he wants." I replied, "Not while he's under my supervision, ma'am." And then it came. "Do you even know who I am?" I thought. Here we go again. I played along. "No, ma'am, I don't." She smirked and said, "I'm the wife of the owner. You're in trouble. You've made a big mistake. I'm going to make sure you never work here again." Internally, I was laughing, but I kept my face serious. "Please don't get me fired," I said. "This is my only job." She wasn't done. "You should have thought of that before you laid a hand on my son." Then she marched to the register and demanded the manager. My dad walked out. She looked him dead in the eye and said, "Your employee harassed my child. I want him fired." My dad glanced at me, then looked back at her calmly. "I'm sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am, but I can't fire him without reason." She huffed. "Do you even know who I am? I'm the owner's wife." My dad tried to keep a straight face, but he couldn't help it. He grinned. "I'm sorry," he said again. "Would you like a refund?" Karen yelled, "I'm calling my husband to report this." She stormed outside, pulled out her phone, and called the number on the board, the same number we use for delivery orders. It was my dad's number. His phone rang. He picked up and answered. "Hello, this is the owner of Joe's. How can I help you?" Her face turned ghost white. He continued, "Yes, I'm the owner and manager of Joe's. And no, you are not my wife. The employee you're trying to get fired is my son." She froze. Her kid was still crying. She turned, grabbed his arm, and stormed out, without even collecting her food. We still talk about that moment, and yeah, I laughed hard. Karen went berserk over apple juice. I let her lose everything. A few days ago, my mom had to run a quick errand at Walmart, pick up a prescription, and grab a few groceries. She hates going to Walmart, so we always try to get in and out fast. While she waited at the pharmacy, my brother and I split off to grab the rest of the items. We headed to the grocery section and started checking off our list. Then we reached the drink aisle, and there, at the very end of the shelf, were 2 lonely gallons of apple juice. Jackpot. My brother and I walked over, and I picked them both up. That's when a woman, maybe in her 40s with a sharp look on her face, came walking toward us. She looked straight at the juice in my hands. I turned around politely and asked, "Oh, were you also looking for apple juice?" She said yes. So I offered, "No problem. You can take one, and we'll take the other." Seemed fair, right? She didn't even blink. "No, I want both." I paused, confused. "Ma'am, I'm happy to give you one. That way we both get some." Her tone hardened. "I said I want both. Give them to me." I stayed calm. "Sorry, but that's not going to happen. I offered you one." "That's fair." My brother, who hates confrontation, just stood there awkwardly, holding the cart. Karen started to raise her voice. "Just give me both." "How hard is that to understand?" I repeated. "You can take one, or none. Your choice. She snapped, "You're wasting my time. You're just being difficult on purpose." At this point, I was tired of being nice, so I quietly placed both gallons into our cart. I turned to my brother, nodded, and we walked away without another word. Behind us, I could hear her yelling. But we didn't stop. We didn't look back. Karen wanted 100% of the juice because she demanded everything. She got nothing. He demanded his daughter's college refund so they could go to Disney. I work in the financial aid office at a small private university. It's a stressful job. I'd only been there for 2 months when this happened, and I was still learning how all the aid processes worked. FAFSA, refund checks, all of it. Let me explain something important first. When students get financial aid, scholarships, grants, loans, they might receive a refund check after tuition, housing, and other fees are deducted. That money is meant for education-related expenses, not for vacations. Now, here comes the story. It was just a normal day in the office, until the door swung open and a large man stormed in, dragging a quiet, embarrassed young woman behind him. Without even saying hello, he shouted, "Where's the person holding my daughter's money hostage?" His voice was booming. The energy shifted in the room. I froze behind the front desk. This guy was big, angry, and loud. Trying to stay calm, I said, "Sir, let me check if someone's available to speak with you." But he cut me off and kept yelling, "This is a terrible university. How dare you keep my daughter's money from her?" My supervisor, the assistant director of financial aid, overheard the noise from her office. She stepped out with a calm but unimpressed look. "I can help you," she said. "Come in." The man and his daughter walked into her office. The door was left open, and I heard everything. The assistant director asked, "So what seems to be the issue?" The dad said, "Her refund was supposed to be in her account by now. It's Wednesday. Where is it?" She calmly explained that there could be delays and the billing department would have more information. But then, he slipped. "She needs that money. We need it for our trip." His daughter quietly, "Dad, I'm not going on a trip." His voice boomed again. "Yes, you are. Remember? We're going to Disney World." The assistant director blinked, realizing exactly what he had just admitted. "Sir," she said slowly, "you're planning to use her financial aid refund to pay for a trip to Disney?" The daughter tried to deny it. "No, I'm not." But the dad interrupted again. "Yes, she is. She promised to cover the deposit with that money. We need it." The assistant director straightened up and said, "Then I must inform you, those funds cannot be released." His voice rose again. "It's her money. She can spend it however she wants." Calmly, she said, "Not if you're using it for non-educational purposes. What you're describing is a misuse of federal aid, and that's considered fraud." The man lost his mind. He exploded into a rage, shouting, cursing, slamming the desk, while his daughter stared at the floor. And me? I was still at the front desk, pretending not to hear, even though every word echoed down the hallway. After several minutes, they left. No refund, no trip, just red-faced and furious. The assistant director stayed quiet for a while. I checked on her. She nodded, but she looked drained. I wouldn't be surprised if that man shows up again, but something tells me he heard the word fraud loud and clear. Moments of pure entitlement, absurdity, and poetic justice, from fake owners to apple juice meltdowns, refund scams to full-on home invasions. These are some warnings, because sometimes the boldest lies are told with the straightest faces, and the loudest ones end up walking away with nothing. If you've ever witnessed a moment like this, or lived one, drop your story in the comments. We're watching. Subscribe to Thread Vaults for more real stories, insane encounters, and unforgettable drama every week. Because here, we don't just tell stories, we vault them.